I sat in the waiting hall, clutching the plane ticket to Miami in my hand. By the gate, an elderly couple were arguing. The old man said the old woman had lost her passport. A little boy was climbing all over the seats. His mother on the phone. I told you, the wedding is tomorrow at 3 in the afternoon, and you have to get here, god damn it! Tomorrow at 3 in the afternoon. My wedding. I kept thinking, why am I getting married? Not the philosophical why do people get married, but the specific, real me, Harley Bennett, 28 years old, why am I marrying Derek McMillan? I thought for a long time. No answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we regret to inform you that the flight to Miami has been delayed due to weather conditions. The estimated delay is 5 hours.
The waiting hall erupted. The mother on the phone started cursing. The old woman looking for her passport began to cry. I put my phone away and leaned back in my seat. 5 hours. I had 5 hours to decide whether to marry a man I wasn't sure I loved. Everyone was rebooking, making calls, complaining, only I didn't move. I sat there, watching people come and go with only one thought in my mind. Maybe the delay was a sign. Maybe the universe was telling me, don't get on this plane, don't fly to that wedding. The seat next to me had been empty. Everyone rushed to rebook. No one wanted to sit in the delayed flight waiting area. I was almost grateful. At least it was quiet. But this quiet only lasted 20 minutes. A woman dragging a large suitcase and carrying a hiking backpack sat down next to me. She looked at least 60, with completely white hair tied in a dirty pendytail, wearing a faded white hiking jacket. When she took off her backpack, it almost hit my foot.
Sorry. This bag has been with me for 10 years. I can't bear to replace it.
I said it was okay. She took out a thermos from her bag, unscrewed the lid, and took a sip.
What are you going to Miami for?
Getting married. She raised an eyebrow. Her expression wasn't blessing, wasn't surprise. It was something hard to describe.
You don't look like someone who's about to get married.
What do you mean?
Your face is gray.
I wanted to argue, but I opened my mouth and nothing came out. Because she was right. Of I marrying the love of my life. All I had was numbness, wedding souvenir, seating chart, food tasting, makeup trial, dress fitting. I did everything I was supposed to do, like a project manager pushing forward a project.
What do you do?
I work as an analyst at an investment bank.
Do you like it?
I don't like it. After saying these 2 words, I startled myself. I had never said don't like it to anyone. Derek asked, I said it's okay. My mom asked, I said it's fine. An interviewer asked, I said it's my passion. But what she said was true. I don't like it. I hate those numbers, hate those envious meetings, hate putting on a suit and tying my hair up every morning, hating the person I see in the mirror.
Then why do you do it?
Because I need this job. Because Derek's mom thinks working in investment banking is respectable. Because I gave up the opportunity to get an MBA and chose this job instead. She looked at me with something in her eyes that made me uncomfortable. Not sympathy. Understanding. That kind of, I know what you're talking about, understanding.
Why did you give up the MBA?
Because Derek said that after I finish my MBA, I'll be 31. Too old. He said a woman's best age to get married is 28. Her words stunned me. Not because I didn't know, but because no one had ever said it out loud. Derek said those words in an Italian restaurant. We had just finished our main course. Dessert hadn't come yet. He held my hand and said, at the time, I thought it was romantic. Now I realize was what your best age is defined by me. What's your name?
Eleanor Warren.
My name is Harley.
I know. It's on your boarding pass.
I smiled. There was something about her that made me relax. Maybe because she was so old enough that she didn't need to prove anything to anyone. Maybe because she was wearing that worn-out hiking jacket, old enough that she didn't care what others thought of her. Maybe because there was no judgment in her eyes, only stories. Do you travel alone?
Alone. My husband divorced me when he turned 60. He found a 25-year-old, so I decided to live my 60s, better than his. She took out a tablet from her bag, scrolled through it a few times, and handed it to me. Take a look at this. On the screen was a video. A gray-haired woman stood on top of Machu Picchu, wind blowing her hair everywhere, smiling. She was wearing that hiking jacket, carrying that backpack, with the rolling Andes Mountains in the background. The video was only 15 seconds, but I watched it over and over again. Is this you? I took it when I was 60, the 3rd month after my divorce.
I looked at her. Her skin was tan, deep brown. The crow's clay at the corners of her eyes were deep, but her bright. The one she said a woman about to get married has. She had it too. Not the light of love, something else.
Weren't you sad? Yes. I was sad for 2 full years. The first year, I stayed in bed, ate and slept, gained 40 pounds. The second year, I started walking around the neighborhood 10 kilometers a day. The third year, I bought this plane ticket and went to Machu Picchu.
Weren't you afraid to go alone?
Afraid of what? Altitude sickness? Getting lost? Getting robbed? I'm not even afraid of my husband being stolen anymore. What else is there to be afraid of?
Why did you show me this, I asked?
Because you're hesitating. I've seen too many women hesitate and walk into marriage anyway. Every single one of them thought, once we're married, it'll get better. No one told them it won't get better. It will only get worse.
You don't believe in marriage?
I believe in marriage. I believe in good marriages. But yours isn't one of them. You know yours isn't. You just don't dare to admit it.
I sat there, my ears ringing. Not from the announcement. It was the sound of voices fighting inside my head. Derek's face floated before my eyes. The way he smiled, the way he got angry, the way he turned his back to me in bed. One word came to mind: habit. Not love, just habit. I was used to having him around, but being used to something doesn't make it right.
Do you know what my biggest regret is? When I was young, I got a full scholarship to London Business School, but I didn't go because my boyfriend at the time said a long-distance relationship would destroy us. I listened to him. I stayed. Later, we got married, had 2 kids, he cheated, we got divorced to see it. I stood at the gate and took a photo. The gate was still the same gate, but I was no longer the same me.
She scrolled to that photo and showed it to me. A gray-haired woman stood in front of an iron gate with London Business School written on it. She was wearing that hiking jacket, carrying that backpack, smiling like a child.
I came to the gate of this school and cried for an hour, not regret. Anger. Anger that I didn't come back then.
Tablet back to her. My hands were shaking. Not because I was cold, because every word she said pierced my heart like a needle. I had also gotten an MBA acceptance letter. Not a full scholarship, but Derek's family had more than enough money. His mother didn't say we can't afford it. She said you'll be 31 when you come back. Who knows if Derek will even still want you by then. I didn't argue back then. I wasn't even angry. I just thought she was right. 31 really was older than 28. What I thought was I want to marry Derek at my best age, not go to school. Now I realize I was like a cow being led by the nose. The rope was in Derek's mother's hand. Derek was at the other end of the rope, and I was in the middle. I followed them for 3 years. I never asked myself, where do you want to go?
You haven't answered my question yet. What are you going to Miami for?
Getting married.
Are you sure?
I stood up. I didn't know what I was doing. I just felt like I couldn't sit anymore. I walked to the floor-to-clean window and looked at the planes on the tarmac, one by one lined up, waiting to take off. Mine was in the distance, engine still off, like a sleeping metal bird. I imagined myself on that plane, flying to Miami, flying to that wedding, putting on the wedding dress that took 3 months to custom make, walking down the aisle, Derek waiting at the end. His mother sitting in the front row wearing a big hat with a flower on it. Everyone was smiling. I was smiling too. But I thought of Eleanor's words. I turned around. Eleanor was still in her seat, eating an energy bar. She saw me looking at her and waved. I walked back and sat down. When did you start traveling?
60, the year I got divorced. I made myself a list. 100 places I wanted to go. I've been to 83 so far.
Where do you most want to go?
Antarctica. But I haven't saved enough money yet. It costs over $10,000 to go to Antarctica. My pension isn't enough. Maybe when I'm 80, if I can still walk by then.
I looked at her face. Her skin was tanned deep brown, fine wrinkles around her eyes, chopped lips. She wasn't beautiful at all, but she was the most beautiful person I had ever seen. Because in her eyes, there was something I had never seen in anyone else's eyes. Freedom. That kind of I don't need anyone's permission to go anywhere freedom. How did you do it? 60 years old, alone, starting from scratch. Weren't you scared?
Yes. But being scared and being afraid to act are 2 different things. Being scared is normal. Being afraid to act is not. You can be scared, but you still have to do it. Because if you don't, you'll be even more scared. Scared of getting old, scared of regret, scared of wasting your whole life.
I lowered my head. My phone lit up. Derek had sent another message. I didn't reply. I turned my phone over and placed it face down on my lap. Eleanor, do you know what I'm thinking right now?
What?
What would happen if I don't get on this plane? She looked at me, a smile slowly curling at the corners of her mouth. It wasn't a laugh. It was that finally expression, like a teacher who had been waiting a long time, finally seeing her student arrive at the answer on her own.
Do you want to hear the truth?
Yes.
You won't get on this plane. I could tell the moment I sat down. Your suitcase is covered in luggage tags, but you didn't even bring a wedding dress. You were never really planning to go through with this wedding.
I was stunned. How did she know?
Your carry-on is too small, she said. You checked a suitcase, but all the tags on it are from 3 years ago. You bought this plane ticket 3 years ago. You've been hesitating for 3 years. Bought a ticket, waited for a delay, waited for someone like me sitting next to you to tell you, you don't have to get on this plane.
My eyes suddenly turned red. I blinked hard, holding back the tears. But every word she said was true. But I bought this ticket 3 years ago. 3 years ago, Derek first brought up marriage. I said yes. I just bought a ticket to venue, didn't try on a Miami dress and let it sit until it expired. Bought another, expired again. This is the third one. I told myself I'm just busy. Investment banking is too busy, no time to plan a wedding. But the truth was I didn't want to plan it. I didn't want to marry Derek. I just didn't know how to say no. The first time I bought this ticket 3 years ago, I planned to figure it out on the plane. But that flight wasn't delayed. Took off on time, landed on time. I got to Miami. Derek picked me up at the airport. We had dinner, drank, had sex. And then I just forgot the question.
You didn't forget, you just buried it. But it's been growing. Like weeds. You can't pull it out.
The announcement came on again. This time it said the delay might be shortened to 4 hours. People around them breathed a smile of relief and started lining up again. I sat still. Eleanor sat still too. Aren't you gonna line up?
I'm not in a hurry. I don't need to be on anyone else's schedule. Wherever I go, I'm alone. I'll get there when I get there. A little late doesn't matter.
Then why are you taking this flight?
Because I want to go to Miami for a Cuban sandwich. Completely serious, not joking. There's a little place in Miami on 8th Street called Sanguiche. Their Cuban sandwich is the best I've ever had. I go there once a year.
I looked at her face and suddenly laughed. Not because it was funny, because I was in awe of her state of being. 60 years old, divorced, traveling alone on a plane just for a sandwich. No one rushing her, no one waiting for her. She didn't need to answer to anyone. Her life was her own.
Do you think I'm selfish? What?
What if I cancel the wedding right now? Derek's mom booked the banquet hall. The invitations have all been sent out. Everyone is waiting for me to show up. If I suddenly say I'm not coming, they'll think I've lost my mind.
What do you think?
I think I'll become a selfish person.
Eleanor unscrewed her thermos again, took a sip of water, and slowly screwed it back on. Harley, let me ask you a question. When your mom got married, was she willing?
Yes. She loved my dad very much.
Would she want you to marry someone you're willing to marry with all your heart?
My tears finally fell. Not because I was sad, but because I suddenly understood. My mom would want me to be happy. She wouldn't want me to marry someone I'd been hesitating about for 3 years at 28. She wouldn't want me to be unable to smile at my own wedding. She wouldn't want me to wait until I was 60 to cry at the gate of London Business College like Eleanor. I took out my phone from my bag and opened Derek's message thread. I read through all the messages he had sent. Iran, the hell are you? Call me back. Are you trying to ruin this wedding? Harley, you don't love me anymore, do you? I stared at those words, my finger hovering above the keyboard. Wind blew across the tarmac. Through the floor-to-ceiling window, I could see the clouds parting. The sun emerged from behind them, golden light spilling over the plains. I typed a few words, deleted them. Typed again, deleted again. Then I typed 7 words. Wedding canceled. I'll pay you back for the ticket. I pressed send. Then I turned my phone off. Eleanor sat next to me, saying nothing. She just reached over and took my hand. Her hands were rough, her nails cut short, age spots on the back of her hand. But it was the warmest hand I had ever held in my life. I typed a few words, deleted them. Typed again, deleted again. Then I typed 7 words. Wedding canceled. I'll pay you back for the ticket. I pressed send. Then I turned my phone off. 5 minutes later, boarding began. Everyone stood up and pushed forward. Only Eleanor and I remained seated.
Aren't you boarding?
No. You?
Like I said, I'm not in a hurry. Come on, I'll buy you a Cuban sandwich.
What?
Miami's off the table, but I know a Cuban sandwich place in Los Angeles that's even better than the one in Miami. The owner is a Cuban grandmother, 90 years old, only makes 50 a day. If we get there before fat, wrinkled, not beautiful, if we made still get face, I smile.
I'm not going to Los Angeles. I'm going to Boston.
Boston? What for?
School. The one I should have gone to 3 years ago.
She smiled. That smile bloomed on her face like a flower. Then let's go. I'll walk you to the airport shuttle bus. I didn't go to Miami. I called off the wedding. Derek called 43 times and sent 97 messages. I didn't reply to any of them. His mother posted a cryptic remark on social media. I never saw it. I deleted all my social accounts. I flew to Boston. I rented a small apartment near the school, barely enough for a bed, a desk, and a bookshelf. But standing there, looking at the Charles River outside the window, I felt it for the first time. This is my room. Not Derek's, not chosen by his mother. It's chosen by me. On the first day of school, I walked into the classroom and sat in the front row. Where are you from? Los Angeles. Why do you look so nervous? Because I'm 28. I thought I was too old for this. I'm 18. I thought I was too old too. Guess we were both wrong. During Thanksgiving, I got a message from Eleanor. She said she had arrived in Iceland, soaping in the Blue Lagoon. The water was perfectly warm, the weather was freezing, and her hair had frozen into ice. She sent a selfie. Her hair stood up like popsicles, and she was laughing like a maniac. I looked at that photo, and I smiled. I chose the paper. But I set her photo as my phone wallpaper. Whenever I felt like I couldn't go on, I would look at her smile and keep writing. Spring of my second year, I did something I would never have done before. I applied for the exchange program at London Business School. Derek's mom used to say, now, no one asks that question anymore. Derek doesn't need me anymore. He got married 3 months ago to his mom's best friend's daughter, a 22-year-old girl studying art history. Their wedding invitation was sent to my old address, and my landlord forwarded it to me. I opened the invitation and looked at the photo of Derek and his bride. The bride was beautiful, very thin, wearing a lace wedding dress seen on Disteriver. Derek wore a dark blue suit, his hair slicked back, smiling a very standard smile. I put the invitation away in a drawer, not to treasure it, and not to throw it away, just to keep it. It's a part of my past. I don't need to deny it. I just don't need to be affected by it anymore. The exchange program at London Business School was only 4 months, but I lived it like 4 years. I went to all the places I'd always wanted to go. The British Museum, Tate Modern, the London Eye, the Harry Potter studio. I took the train to Cambridge, to Oxford, to Edinburgh. Every place I went, I would send Eleanor a photo, and she would send one back. We never called each other, just messages. But I felt like she was always by my side. Like a distant, unfamiliar mother who gave me a second life. When she was in Greece, she sent me a photo of the Santorini sunset. The sunset here is better than Machu sunrise at Machu Picchu is even better. I sent her a photo from Edinburgh Castle overlooking the whole city. Scottish bagpipes sound worse than I imagined. She replied, "Shut up. Bagpipes are the best sounding instrument in the world." After the exchange program ended and I returned to the US, I started my second year of MBA. That year, I made a decision. I wasn't going back to investment banking. I was going to become a travel blogger. When Derek's mom heard this, she would definitely say, "You're crazy." But I didn't care what she would say. She was nobody to me. She never was. I started writing a blog. It was called Hallie's 5 Hours. The title of my first article was "I Canceled My Wedding in the Airport Lounge." I wrote in great detail, every single detail, Eleanor's windbreaker, thermist, energy bars, that 15-second Machu Picchu video. I didn't add any fiction, because the truth was already powerful enough to move people. The night the article went out, my inbox exploded. Over 300 emails. Someone said, "You saved me." Someone said, "I'm also hesitating about getting married." Someone said, "I'm 665 and after reading your article, I booked a ticket to Iceland." I read those emails one by one until 3 in the morning. My eyes was swollen from crying. Not from sadness, but because I finally knew I wasn't alone. There were so many women, hesitating, struggling, telling themselves, wait a little longer. They weren't waiting for the right time. They were waiting for someone to tell them, "You don't have to live this way." The blog went viral. Before I even graduated from my MBA, I received a book offer from a publisher, a sponsorship from a travel brand, even an interview invitation for a TV show. Not because I was amazing, but because I said what so many people were afraid to say. The TV host asked me, "Hallie, do you regret it?" Do you regret canceling your wedding?
I said, the only thing I regret is not canceling it 3 years earlier.
The host asked again, and are you happy now?
I looked into the camera, thought of Eleanor's smile, the top of Machachinu, that door at London Business School. I said, I'm very happy. Not because of how much money I have or how many places I've been to. It's because I'm finally doing what I want to do. Not what others think I should do, but what I want to do. After the show aired, Derek sent me a message. It was the first time he had contacted me in 2 years.
He said, I saw you. You look happy. I'm happy for you.
I stared at that message for a long time, then deleted it. No need to reply. 不需要回复. Some doors close, and there's no need to open them again. On graduation day, my mom came. She sat in the first row, wearing the blue dress I bought her. When I walked onto the stage to get my diploma, she was clapping. Not the polite kind of clap. She clapped so hard her hands turned red.
Hallie, I'm sorry.
What are you sorry for? What are you sorry for? I'm sorry I didn't support you to go to school back then. I'm sorry I listened to Derek's mom. I thought women should marry at 28, not study at 31.
I'm sorry I almost made you become someone you don't like.
I held her and cried too. We stood on the lawn crying, surrounded by students in gowns taking photos. No one looked at us. Everyone was busy celebrating their own victory. Mom, you're not sorry to me, you're sorry to your younger self.
What?
You wanted to study when you were young, right? You wanted to go to London Business School too. But you didn't. Because people told you women don't need to. She didn't say anything, she just cried. Even harder than I did. After graduation, I moved to Los Angeles. Not because I loved LA, but because Eleanor was there. She had a small apartment in Koreatown with a 24-hour tofu soup shop right downstairs. She said she picked this place because you don't need a thick coat in winter. The day I arrived, she was waiting for me downstairs. She was 70 years old, but her eyes still sparkled.
You're here.
I'm here.
Where's your luggage?
Just this bag. You said it yourself, don't bring too much stuff.
You learn fast.
We went to that Cuban sandwich shop she talked about. The 90-year-old owner was still there, making sandwiches behind the counter. Her fingers were twisted, but she flipped the sandwiches as neatly as ever.
You're back again?
Brought a friend.
You're not her friend. You're her daughter.
Eleanor didn't correct her. Neither did I. Maybe in another parallel universe, she really is my mother. A mother who lived for everyone else before she turned 60. And lived for herself after. I settled down in Los Angeles. My travel blog turned into a vlog. I started posting short debt videos on TikTok, themed where I went after calling off my wedding. The first video was only 45 seconds long. 2 years ago today, I almost married a man I didn't love. Today, I'm here, eating a sandwich. That video got 7 million views. Someone in the comments said, "You're the bravest woman I've ever seen." Someone said, "You gave me the courage to leave my boyfriend." And someone said, "What's there to brag about just not getting married?" I read the last kind of comment to Eleanor.
You don't need everyone to like you. You just need to make some people realize life can be lived this way.
My videos aren't just about not getting married. I started sharing my travels, reading, work, and daily life. I filmed the aurora when I went to Iceland, and Machu Picchu in Peru, the place Eleanor told me about. Eleanor, I made it. This is your Machu Picchu, and it's mine too. I sent the video to Eleanor. She didn't reply. She was on a small Greek island with bad signal. But later, I received a photo from her. I smiled at the photo. You can still meet someone you like at 70. Love isn't just for people in their 20s. It can happen at any age, as long as you keep living. My vlog grew bigger and bigger. I signed with an agency, got sponsorships, and published my second book. My life looked glamorous. But only I knew that late at night, I still thought of Derek. Not him, the road I didn't take. What if I'd married him? Maybe a big house in the suburbs, 2 kids, an SUV, Stossable kicking up at Costco on weekends. It's not a bad life. It's just not the one I want. One day, I got a message from a stranger. It was from a woman. She said, "Hallie, I'm Derek's new wife." No, ex-wife. We got divorced. She said Derek cheated on my videos and finally realizing that Derek just can't cherish anyone. One day, I got a message from a stranger. It was from a woman. She said, "Hallie, I'm Derek's new wife." No, ex-wife. We got divorced. She said Derek cheated my videos, finally realizing it me who just can't cherish anyone. I'd lived in Los Angeles for 2 years. Eleanor was going to Antarctica. She'd finally saved enough money. I went to the airport to see her off before she left. She still wore that same jacket, with that same hiking bag. Only her hair was whiter than 2 years ago. "Are you really going?"
I really am.
"Aren't you afraid of the cold?"
I am. But I'm more afraid of not going. Hallie, you know what? When you first showed up, I thought you were a little girl who needed help. But later I realized you helped me too.
What did I help you with?
You made me see that what I do matters. If I'd never filmed that video at Machu Picchu, if I'd never sat next to you in that terminal, you wouldn't be where you are now. And I would never have known you can go to Antarctica at 70.
We hugged. She was small and thin, but strong. Text me when you get there.
I will, if the penguins don't eat my phone.
Eleanor sent me 37 messages from Antarctica, 37, and every one of them came with 9 photos, glaciers, penguins, seals, and a sun that never seemed to go down. Her last message made me stop scrolling. I stood on the ice for 10 minutes, Eleanor. I couldn't help smiling. That was 70 years old, still chasing the world like an excited kid.
By then, I was already in my 3rd year in Los Angeles. My 3rd MBA semester? No, I'd graduated a long time ago. All I knew was this. At 28, I called off my wedding. At 29, I graduated with my MBA. And at 30, I became a travel content creator. Not because I got married, because I earned it myself. The day I got the keys, I stood alone in the empty living room, and I said out loud, "Hallie, this is your home. Not Derek's, not your mother's, not anyone else's. Yours." I didn't cry. I smiled. The kind of smile that comes from somewhere deep inside your soul. One day when I was 32, I received an invitation from an old friend. My college classmate Lily is getting married in Miami, the same city where I almost flew to get married. I saw the address on the invitation and froze for a second. Miami, 6th Street. It's only a 10-minute walk from the Cuban sandwich shop Eleanor told me about. I decided to go. Not because I want to go to that city, but because I want to prove something. That city is not my nightmare. It's just a place. I can eat sandwiches there, drink coffee. I don't need to be afraid of it. I booked the flight. This time, I'm not going to get married. I'm going to someone else's wedding. I brought a carry-on with only 2 dresses and a pair of sneakers. No checked luggage, no hesitation. The flight to Miami took off on time. No delays. Next to me sat a young couple. The girl was scrolling on her phone. The boy was playing games. They looked like Derek and I used to be. I wanted to say something,
but I didn't.
Some roads you have to walk alone.
Lily's wedding was beautiful. By the ocean, white tents, pink roses. She wore a mermaid wedding dress, hair up, wearing a pearl necklace. When she walked toward the groom, her eyes were full of light. I've seen that light before. On top of Machu Picchu, in Eleanor's eyes, in my LA apartment, in my own eyes. It's not the getting married light. It's the I know this is what I want light. I cried at the wedding. Not out of envy, but out of joy. Happy that Lily found someone she's sure about. Happy that this kind of love still exists in the world. Happy that not everyone has to cancel a wedding to find themselves like I did.
Lily, I've waited 30 years for you.
You're only 31. Everyone laughed. I laughed too. After the wedding, I went to that Cuban sandwich shop on 8th Street. It was still there. The 90-year-old woman was still there. Her fingers were more crooked, but she flipped the sandwiches with the same agility. "Do you remember me?" I asked. She glanced at me. "You're Eleanor's friend." "You remember?" "Of course I remember. Very few people come to eat my sandwich alone. Most come in pairs, one eats, the other takes photos." I laughed. "I'm alone now too. Alone is good. Alone means you can eat too." She really made me too. I sat on the plastic chair outside the shop, watching people pass by on 8th Street, and ate both sandwiches. It was delicious. Even better than Eleanor said. On the flight back to LA, I sat next to another older woman. She wore a pink sweater, curly hair, lipstick. She looked so refined and elegant, like the kind of woman who drinks tea in a garden.
Where are you going?
Los Angeles. Home? Yes. How old are you? 32. She nodded. When I was 32, I just had my third child. I thought that was it for life. Raising kids, cooking, waiting for my husband to come home. But then I realized there's so much more to life. Like what? Like I started oil painting at 55 and had my first solo exhibition at 62. She took a business card out of her bag and handed it to me. It had her name and the word painter. This is the title I'm most proud of. Not someone's wife, not someone's mom, painter. Thank you.
For what?
For showing me it's never too late to start. She laughed, showing her dentries, but her eyes were truly bright. After landing in LA, I got a message from Eleanor. She said she was in Turkey on a hot air balloon, attached a photo of her standing in the basket, hair blowing in the wind, smiling like a little girl, over 70 years old, and her eyes were full of light. I texted back, "I went to Miami, ate 2 Cuban sandwiches." She replied instantly, "Is the old lady still alive?" Yes. Her fingers are more crooked, but she still flips the sandwiches with agility. She's the coolest person I've ever met. You're the second coolest. Who's first? Me. She sent a long string of crying, laughing emojis. Then she sent another. "Hallie, I'm back in LA next week. Let's meet." Okay. I'll take you for tofu soup. Do you know why I love tofu soup? Why? Because it's hot. Hot things need to be eaten slowly. Slow down to taste the flavor. Life is the same. The day Eleanor came back to LA, I waited for her at that tofu soup shop in Koreatown. When she walked in, I almost didn't recognize her. She had a new jacket. Red, very bright.
You got new clothes?
Bought it in Antarctica. The old one wasn't warm enough.
Bought it in Antarctica. The old one wasn't warm enough. You won't believe what I saw in Antarctica.
What? Penguins. Hundreds of thousands of penguins, standing there, not moving, like little people in tuxedos. I looked at them and suddenly thought, they don't stand there to please anyone. They just live. Live there. Live in that freezing cold place. As she spoke, her eyes lit up. Hallie, I want to be like them too. So you, Aunt Rare, don't need to be pretty, don't need to be liked, just need to live in my own place. I held her hand. You already are. We ate that bowl of tofu soup for 2 hours. Not because the service was slow, but because we kept talking. She talked about George. She said they met twice more after Santorini, but eventually broke up. He's a good man, but he wants to settle down, wants someone with him. I don't. I still have so many places to go. My legs can still walk. My eyes can still see. I don't want to stop. Aren't you afraid of loneliness? I am. But I'm more afraid of being lonely when you're with someone. Do you understand?
I understand. When I was with Derek, I often felt lonely. He was next to me, but he was on his phone. I was zoning out. We were in the same bed, but there was a wall between us. That kind of loneliness is way scarier than being alone. At least when you're alone, you don't have to pretend.
Hale, do you like anyone?
No. I don't think I've found myself yet. When I find myself, maybe someone will see me. Maybe not. But it doesn't matter.
You've really grown up.
I did vlogs for another 2 years. My followers grew to 5 million. I went to 40 countries, filmed 400 videos, wrote 3 books. Many people envy my life, but others don't understand. Someone asked, "You don't get married, don't have kids. What will you do when you're old?" I said, "When I'm old, I'll go to Antarctica to see penguins." This answer was cut into a short video, played 30 million times on TikTok. Comments said, "Just as every best scene etser." Others said, "You're just avoiding responsibility." I read the second comment and smiled. Who says a woman's responsibility is to get married and have kids? My responsibility is to live my life well. If everyone lived their own life well, the world wouldn't need so much responsibility. That's because you don't post videos. You only post photos. Videos are too much trouble. Eleanor'd, videos are too much trouble. I don't have the patience. You're just lazy. Yes. One day, I ran into someone at a supermarket in Los Angeles, Derek. He was pushing a shopping cart filled with milk, eggs, bread, and baby food. Beside him stood a woman holding a baby. She wasn't his ex-wife, and she wasn't the 22-year-old art history student. She was someone new.
Hallie?
The moment he saw me, he froze.
You haven't changed at all.
I have. I've changed a lot. You just can't see it. Who are you? An old friend. Then I left. Didn't look back. No need to look back. Those days pushing a cart with baby food in a supermarket weren't what I wanted. What I want is further away, on top of Machu Picchu, in the Santorini sunset, on the Antarctic ice, in those places that haven't been named yet. That night, I called Eleanor. It was the first time I'd ever called her. Before that, we had only texted. "Eleanor, I saw Derek today."
And then?
Then I walked away.
Were you sad?
Not sad. It just felt strange. I almost married that man once.
She didn't answer right away. Instead, I heard something crunchy. It sounded like an apple. "Eleanor, what are you eating?" "An apple. Bought it here in Alaska. The apples here are incredibly sweet." "You're in Alaska again?" "I wanted to see the northern wind is the best season for it." She was always chasing somewhere farther than everyone else.
When are you coming back to Los Angeles?
I'm not. Next, Japan, then Australia, then New Zealand, maybe Los Angeles after that. Maybe not.
For Eleanor, home was no longer a place. It was wherever the horizon began. What about your apartment?
Sold it last month. I bought a boat.
A
A
boat?
small sailboat, big enough to live on. I'm going to sail around the world.
I thought she was joking, but she wasn't. She really bought a sailboat. A photo appeared on my phone. A small white sailboat. An inflatable penguin sitting on the deck. The caption read, "Her name is Hallie." I couldn't stop smiling. When I saw that photo, tears came to my eyes instantly. Not because I was moved, but because I knew she wouldn't sail that boat for very long. Her body wasn't what it used to be. She told me her knees hurt, her shoulders hurt. Sometimes her fingers were stiff when she woke up in the morning.
But she kept going to those freezing, faraway places. because she knew that if she stopped, she'd really be old.
Eleanor, when do you leave?
Next month.
I'll come see you off.
No need to see me off. I leave anytime, arrive anytime. If you come, I won't know where I am. No signal at sea.
Then how do you send messages? Send when I dock. There's signal when I reach port. Eleanor, be careful.
I will. I still have to come back alive to eat Cuban sandwiches.
After Eleanor left, we lost contact. She sent messages when she docked, sometimes weeks apart, sometimes months apart. She said she met an old New Zealand man also sailing. They agreed to go to Tongi together. After that message, I never heard from her again. 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, half a year. I texted her countless times, no reply. I called, the number was disconnected. I started to be afraid. I checked all her social media. Last post was in Fiji. A year later, I received a package, sent from New Zealand. The sender was a name I didn't recognize. I opened the package. Inside was a handwritten sailing journal. On the cover it said, "Hal, this is for you." On the title page it said, Eleanor Warren, 1944-2023. My hands started shaking. I turned to the first page. The first page of the journal had the date, the day she left LA. Every page after that recorded the places she went, the things she saw, the people she met. Her handwriting was messy, like a child's, but every word was earnest. I turned to the last page. The date was the last day before she lost contact. Arrived in Tongi today. The sea water is blue like a gem. I met an old man. He bought me coconut water. I thought of Hale. She would love it here. If I don't make it back, please send this journal to her. Tell her I went to many places, met many delicious sandwiches, not even for a minute. Haley, don't you regret either. I held that journal and cried for a long time. Not because she died, but because she lived so well when she was alive. She turned her life after 70 into poetry. She treated every day like a gift. On the last day of her life, she was still looking at the blue sea, drinking coconut water, meeting new people. Didn't go to Eleanor's funeral, because I didn't know where she was. She said before she died, scatter her ashes into the ocean. But I know her boat was called Hale. Her journal had my name on it. In her final moments, she was thinking of me. The sun was setting, sky from orange to purple, golden light on the sea. I wrote, Eleanor. On the wall hung a world map covered with red pushpins. Each pin represented a place I had been. I found Tonga, a tiny dot in the South Pacific. I drew a small heart. I picked up my backpack and put in a fleece jacket, a blank journal, and a pen. Eleanor, I'm setting off. The door closed. Sunlight fell on my shoulder. I smiled. I know where I'm going, smile. The flight to Tonga took off on time. No delay. Next to me was a young girl, early 20s, with a glow on her face. Where are you going? The flight to Tonga took off on time. No delay. I thought of myself 8 years ago, waiting for a flight to a wedding I wasn't sure about. An old woman in a fleece jacket sat next to me, and she changed my life. Now it was my turn to sit in that seat. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to go see him? Not sure, but I want to go see. If it's not right, I'll come back. Then go. If it's not right, come back. Remember, you can always come back. Something in her eyes lit up, like a lamp being turned on. I know Eleanor is waiting for me there. Not really waiting. Her story is waiting. Her story becomes my story. My story becomes the next girl's story. Passed on forever. Never stopping.